What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So as I'm sure you all know, a game called Pokken Tournament was recently released for the Wii U. This game is an unlikely crossover between Pokemon and Tekken, and if you told someone a few years ago that we'd be getting this game, they'd probably laugh in your face. But you know what? We did get this game.
So now it's my turn to laugh.
Anyways, that got me thinking, what other Pokemon crossover games would be really cool? So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys my top 5 most wanted Pokemon crossover games. Just remember that these are all pretty unlikely to happen, so this is just going to be a fun look at what franchises could work well with Pokemon in a game, and how those games would play out if they actually happened. So, without further ado, let's take a look. Coming in at number 5 is the Shrek franchise. Okay, guys, settle down. It was just a joke. Guys, chill. I said it was a joke. Oh, come on, guys. Just relax.
You suck.
Okay, let's get back to the real list. Coming in at the real number 5 is Earthbound. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, Earthbound? Why Earthbound? Well, I can't be the only one who thought Ness was Ash Ketchum in the original Smash Bros. When they were a kid. He's got the hat, he's got the backpack, he says PK Fire. I mean, come on, it's so obvious. On a more serious note though, the reason why I say Earthbound is because Pokemon and Earthbound are practically cousins. Earthbound was developed by Ape Inc., who later became Creatures Inc. Tsunekazu Ishihara, who is the current CEO of the Pokemon Company, worked for Ape and was actually the first CEO of Creatures. The thing that really ties them together though is the fact that Creatures owns a third of Pokemon's copyright. This is because during the development of the original Pokemon games, Game Freak almost went bankrupt, but luckily Creatures stepped in to fund the rest of the project in exchange for a 1/3 ownership of the franchise. Both games are RPGs, so I'm sure the crossover could be pretty smooth, and it would be a nice homage to the series' history. At number 4, we have Fire Emblem, and the only reason this isn't higher on the list is because we already have a very Fire Emblem-esque game in Pokemon Conquest. However, this game was kind of overlooked because it came out on the original DS over a year after the 3DS was released, so I think a Pokemon Fire Emblem crossover could work well as a spiritual successor to this game, and could even be used to possibly jumpstart the Conquest series as another spin-off franchise to go along with Mystery Dungeon. Gameplay-wise, it would pretty much just play like Pokemon Conquest, because like I said, that game is a lot like Fire Emblem already. But of course, it could also draw from Fire Emblem, and characters like Marth, Ike, Roy, and Lucina could act as the warlords for different areas. They could also throw in one of the mechanics that Fire Emblem is known for, where if one of your team members dies, they're gone for good. That would be quite the Nuzlocke, don't you think? Taking the number 3 spot is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is adorable. Pokemon are adorable. But you know what's even more adorable? Putting Pokemon in houses and letting them live together in a village. For real though, how great would it be to play Animal Crossing with Pokemon? Seeing Pokemon come and go from your village, putting them in that adorable Animal Crossing art style, dressing them up in cute little clothes, I need this in my life! Nothing special would even have to be done to the gameplay, just make it Animal Crossing, but with Pokemon, and we're good to go. I know I said all of these are pretty unlikely, but please Nintendo, please! At number 2, just because I'm a sucker for mysteries and crime solving, we have the Ace Attorney franchise. There is something that is so much fun about solving crimes in these games. The mystery itself in each case is really intriguing, and putting all the pieces together is really exciting. So I think it would be amazing to have a Pokemon-themed Ace Attorney game. I imagine the game could start with a small case, such as a young trainer being accused of stealing from a Pokemart, and the lawyer appointed to him is none other than Phoenix Wright. From there, Phoenix could take part in other cases, such as something involving Team Rocket. The thought of interrogating Giovanni in some sort of trial is more than enough to have me foaming at the mouth at the idea of this game. It could have a mix of classic Pokemon characters as well as new original characters to make things fresh. I mean, imagine interviewing people such as Nurse Joy or any one of the gym leaders. Seeing all of these great Pokemon characters in this new and exciting light would be so awesome. The only problem I see with this is the fact that the cases in Ace Attorney often involve murder. Obviously, this clashes with the kid-friendly atmosphere of Pokemon, but death hasn't been ignored completely. Marowak was killed by Team Rocket in the Gen 1 games, and in Black and White 2, we meet the ghost of a dead girl in the old house near Lentimus Town, so I think it would be possible to have a couple of cases about death in this game. But seriously though, taking down Team Rocket in the courtroom and gathering evidence to solve their crimes makes me want this game so bad. Come on Capcom, you've already worked with Nintendo before, let's make this happen. It was a tough choice between Ace Attorney and this next franchise for who should take the #1 spot, but I ultimately decided on Dynasty Warriors. Another unlikely Nintendo crossover happened in 2014 when The Legend of Zelda crossed over with Dynasty Warriors to make Hyrule Warriors, and the game was a pretty big success. There were even rumblings a little while back that the developers of Hyrule Warriors were open to working with other Nintendo franchises for similar games, and I think Pokémon would be a great fit. I could see this game having a setting similar to Pokemon Conquest, where it's based on medieval Asia and you've got warlords fighting each other. I imagine the player character being some sort of general, and you'd have a number of Pokemon to choose from that you could ride into battle. From there, you'd essentially be playing as whatever Pokemon you chose, fighting the enemy's armies as you rode your Pokemon. Just imagine being able to ride on an Arcanine or a Charizard into battle and destroying armies of soldiers in the classic Dynasty Warriors style. And then for boss fights, you could fight fellow generals who are also using Pokemon. That would be amazing! They'd just have to make sure that the generic enemy was a regular soldier rather than a Pokemon, because destroying hordes of Pokemon would not be a good thing. Unless they were Zubats. We don't need any more Zubats. And those are my top 5 possible Pokemon crossovers. Once again, these aren't really all that likely. This was just for fun to see what franchises would work well with Pokemon, so if you have any franchises you think would be good for a crossover, let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already for more Pokemon videos and remixes. And as always, I'll smell you guys later.